Hello, beautiful, sassy, gorgeous ladies. I'm redoing this video. Actually, this is the second time I've done it. Actually, I had to delete a bunch of space on my phone because the video kept stopping at a certain point, and I was like, what's going on? So I've cleared out some space on my phone, and I'm redoing this video. In truth, I wasn't that happy with the first video anyway, so I thought, oh, this gives me another chance to remake the video. So before I get started into this video, if you are really truly serious about getting that quality man and having a quality relationship, then you may want to apply for personal one-on-one coaching with me. And coaching is great for people who really want to fast track their success. And I can really take all the concepts that you're seeing that I talk about in my videos and apply them to your particular situation. Because as you know, we women have blind spots. There are things that we're not aware of, we don't know to look for, and that is the beauty of coaching. Someone outside to come in and say, okay, I see you're doing this, you're doing that, and really point some things out to you that you wouldn't know to look for on your own. That is really, truly the value of coaching. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, just simply go to katiecoach.com and book a time with me, and then we can go from there, okay? So today I wanted to talk about a very, very important concept, and that is how to get a man to truly commit to you and how to really build trust in a relationship. So trust is a really, really important part of any relationship. A true, solid, long-term relationship cannot be sustained without trust. Okay, there has to be trust there between two people, or else it will just collapse. It will fall apart, and because there is no kind of consistency, there's no commitment there. If there's no commitment, you're not going to open up, he's not going to open up, and therefore trust cannot be built, intimacy cannot be built, and most likely nothing will come of that relationship, or you'll just stay at a friends with benefits kind of very surface level relationship, which for me, I call those relationships pseudo relationships, where they kind of meet a need, but they meet a need at a very, very low level, okay? So if we want to really truly have a solid, committed, fulfilling relationship, we need to understand how trust is developed, how it is maintained, and also how intimacy goes along with all of that, okay? So first thing you must be aware of is one of the most important milestones of a relationship in terms of building trust and intimacy is getting to Facebook official. This is true commitment. And the reason I say Facebook official is because there has to be a public declaration of that commitment, okay, where publicly he's saying to everyone, okay, everyone, you're his and he is yours, okay? This is my girlfriend, this is my boyfriend. I want everybody to know I'm proud to be with this person. I'm proud to declare to the world I am taken once and for all. I am taken. Yeah, I'm not entertaining any other options. I don't want to entertain any other options, and I'm proud to be with this person. I want everybody to know about it. And the reason I say Facebook official, because Facebook is a social platform. It is very public. Generally, it is used that way, and it's quite a big deal to be Facebook official, because I think nowadays that's kind of the norm. If you're not on Facebook, or he is not on Facebook, then he at least should be introducing you to his friends and family as his girlfriend. Okay, that's commitment, right? If he simply tells you he's committed to you, your boyfriend, girlfriend, but you have never met his family, you have never met his friends, you have never seen him in public introduce you to somebody important to him as his girlfriend, doesn't count then. Okay, it's very important that there's a public display of this to show everybody, you know, he is serious and you are also serious. Now that we're clear on what commitment is that I'm referring to, and that's the big milestone we're aiming for, intimacy and trust is divided into 2 stages. Okay, there is pre-commitment, pre-Facebook official, and there is post-commitment, post-Facebook official. So how it tends to go is in the beginning, in stage 1, trust and intimacy is pretty low, right? Naturally, we don't automatically trust somebody like after we have just met them. We're not just going to trust a stranger. Now, this gets a little tricky in romantic relationships because, especially women, but because we are so, we put so much value on our feelings in the beginning of a relationship that sometimes we can feel a tremendous amount of trust with a man we barely know, right? So that level of trust, I call that fake trust. That's fake trust. It's kind of like when you meet someone at a party and you instantly build rapport, you instantly feel like you've known them for years and years. That's fake trust, because that's a feeling of trust and that's real. The feeling is real. But in terms of whether there's really any trust there, there isn't really, is there? Because there's no history. It's a difference between meeting that person at having known that person for a week and knowing someone for 5 years. Huge difference, right? Huge difference actually in terms of trust level. So fake trust is really just an illusion of trust. We still feel like we really do trust that person, but it's not really grounded in anything concrete. You know, it's not like we really can trust that person in our bones. Like we trust that person to give us $1,000 or we trust that we can lend them, you know, $1,000, or we trust that they will donate blood for us, or we trust that they're going to jump in front of a bullet for us. You know what I mean? Like it's a different level of trust. So, so that's why I say fake trust, but it's just a surface level trust, right? So before you get to commitment, there is that surface level trust, the illusion of trust, fake trust. And really, it's only after you get to commitment, Facebook official, that's how you can ramp up, and you should ramp up your intimacy and trust really quickly. It should go up that way. And if it doesn't, that's when something is wrong there. Okay, that's something else is happening. And that could mean that whole facade of getting into that relationship and all that trust that was built up, that just happened too quickly. It happened too fast. It wasn't natural. A lot of it was probably driven by a fear of being alone, a fear of running out of time. And you know, if it's not really built on something solid, on true connection and true trust, then it can disappear very quick as well. But just so you know, how it should typically go is before commitment, before you get to commitment, it will kind of be subtle. Like you will gradually build up that trust and then it will ramp up, right? It should ramp up in stage 2. So I want to focus this video on mostly stage 1. So in stage 1, we want to make sure that we're building that trust deliberately. And the way we do that is to show an appropriate level of vulnerability with that other person. So trust and vulnerability go hand in hand. If you don't show a bit of vulnerability, then basically how it works, it's like a dance, okay? So you show a bit of vulnerability, he shows a bit of vulnerability. Because there is that exchange of showing vulnerability, trust is built up. Right? Now, next time you know you can trust him, then you share a little bit more. Now he'll share a little bit more, and then a little bit more trust is built up. Next time you share a little bit more, he shares a little bit more, so on and so forth, right? How we can really disregard this dance, and a lot of people do it without realizing they're doing it, is when they jump ahead of themselves, right? When they start to reveal too much about themselves before trust has really been built up that is appropriate for that stage of your relationship, okay? So if it's not appropriate that you're sharing all this stuff, and especially if he hasn't shown you any vulnerability on his end to properly hold your truth and your vulnerability, then it's gonna have the opposite effect now. Trust will be eroded, okay? Now you probably end up scaring him away or like freaking him out because he'll be thinking, well, hang on a second, we don't even have that kind of relationship yet, and she's telling me about, you know, all this stuff about her past and about her alcoholic father and all this, what the hell, you know? So you don't want to freak any man out. Similarly, it can happen the other way around. If a man was telling you all kinds of stuff about his past, when you haven't even gotten to stage like date 2, you know, you probably feel a bit weird. You'll probably be like, this is kind of turning me off. Like, we're not at that level yet. You know, we don't have the appropriate amount of trust built up where it makes sense to open up about those things. And that's why I want to offer that when you're dating, be very aware of whether he has really earned that trust, okay, by showing appropriate amounts of vulnerability and paying attention. You know, when you show vulnerability, does he show vulnerability back to earn that trust? If he doesn't reciprocate it, then he doesn't gain that trust, and you don't go any further. You've got to pay attention to this. Don't just be in your head, you know, and doing all these things without paying attention to what is being reciprocated and what isn't being reciprocated, because that's how we get into trouble when we want to rush. Okay, so we don't want to rush into that commitment. It's not just about getting to that commitment, but it's about how to really gain trust and intimacy and being vulnerable at the right time. And that takes time. There is no way to rush that. And you really don't and shouldn't rush that. If you do that authentically, okay, if you are truly authentic in how you approach this and how vulnerable you are, you will naturally get to that point where a man feels enough trust and vulnerability with you that he will want a relationship with you, right? And then it just naturally happen because he feels so much trust with you that next thing you know, you're in a relationship, you're Facebook official, okay? Because he feels like, oh, I'm able to open up so much about myself to this woman that I wasn't able to do with other women. Okay, because you play the slow game. You understood how trust is built up, that you're not going to rush into it and use other tactics like sex and all this kind of stuff to try to get him. You literally focus on building that trust consistently, authentically, and then he's going to want to commit naturally because he feels a real level of trust with you. Now, just quickly, once you get that commitment, you want to make sure you ramp it up. But I will talk about that in a different video. You know, you really need to ramp up the intimacy now. If you don't ramp it up, guess what? It's just gonna die. You know, it's gonna die. And a lot of times what I see happen is women, you know, when they get that commitment and then it just kind of dies after 6 months or a year, it's mostly because they were not being authentic, they were not communicating their truth, and then we're hiding a bunch of stuff. As soon as you hide things from your partner, trust is eroded, you're disconnected, and now what do you have? You don't have a relationship, because relationships are built on trust and intimacy. If you don't have that, if you erode that away, there will be none. There will be no relationship. He will just disappear, he will ghost you, he will pull away, and then that would be that. Okay, so we have to make sure the second stage, always need to ramp it up. Okay, slow in the beginning and then boom. And then hopefully engagement and marriage after that. Okay, so that's how it should go. I'll make a second video about the second stage in another video. Okay, so Before I go, if you're interested in taking this material and going deeper with it and really propel your results forward and truly get that high quality man and a high quality relationship that you want, you may want to check out personal one-on-one coaching with me. Simply go to katiecoach.com, book a time with me, we can talk and let's see what we can do, okay? Because I really do want to help you. I think some of the best valuable things we can gain is from coaching, so we can propel our success, right? And not just do trial and error forever and try to figure it all out ourselves. Okay, so that's all from me. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback, I would love to hear from you. And that's all, okay? I'll be back with part 2 of this video real soon. Okay, bye guys.